Alright, the Battlefield 6 beta ended a few days ago, and I'm pretty sure the reception that most of the community had was, we're back, you know what I mean? Like, we're not, it's definitely not the same vibe as Battlefield 3 or 4, but it's definitely not the vibe of Battlefield 2042 or even Battlefield 5. I know a lot of people love Battlefield 5. I don't personally like it. I think it's, the mechanic, the sliding, the jumping, the movement of it, it's not a typical Battlefield in my opinion. I still like it, I still enjoy it, but it just wasn't my thing. I think it was like a step down from Battlefield 1, and it was ahead of its time in terms of movement, but it wasn't my favorite thing at the time. Regardless, the reception of Battlefield 6 was still pretty good overall. I'd say people, for the most part, thought, this is great. Even with the small maps and the little issues we did have, I have faith that they're gonna deliver this year and bring us something that we could play for a few years without getting Battlefield fatigue. So ever since then, of course, like everyone else, I've been itching to play more Battlefield, and I wanted to play the most recent one because I feel like Battlefield 2042's movement is most similar to Battlefield 6. It's a slight difference. In Battlefield 6, the guns definitely do feel heavier and pack a bigger punch than Battlefield 2042, and there's more recoil, definitely more visual recoil. But overall, the movement feels most similar to Battlefield 2042. So I hopped on and I've been playing, and actually after the beta, they dropped an update which gave us, first off, a free battle pass which commemorates all the past Battlefield games. Each level the tiers, so there's tier 1 through 10, that's Battlefield 1 type of stuff. Then 11 through 20 is Battlefield Bad Company 2. Each level of tiers, or each row of tiers, if that makes sense, basically shouts out the older Battlefield games. This battle pass kind of reminds me of what they did with Black Ops 6. Every time you prestige, they gave you something from a previous, something related to a previous Call of Duty game. It's kind of like that, and it's not the most incredible stuff, of course, but it's a free battle pass, which it's incredible saying that itself. A free battle pass. When do they ever give you a free battle pass? And I don't mean a free track. Of course, each battle pass has a free track above the paid version of the battle pass, and most of the time the free battle pass is the most cheap basic stuff, and it kind of incentivizes you to buy the premium battle pass. But this is actually a decent free battle pass. With that update though, they also added a brand new map. They added a 24/7 playlist for Conquest and Breakthrough on this map. It's a classic from Battlefield 5 and previous World War II Battlefield games. It's Iwo Jima, probably a fan favorite map. I really love this map on Battlefield 5. It's one of the things that kept me playing Battlefield 5 because, of course, that game's maps aren't the greatest. I think they're unique. They're definitely different, but a lot of people didn't like them, including myself. So when they added the Pacific update into Battlefield 5, this is one of the maps that I kept playing on repeat over and over and over, and you kind of could never get tired of it in a way. So that's the gameplay you guys are watching, some breakthrough on this map. We didn't really go too far. My team kind of wasn't really pushing into the objective, including myself. I was trying to play strategic, but all of that leads us to the main topic of the video, which, I played a lot of Battlefield 2042 these past few days, and I realized it's actually not that bad. Of course, it wasn't like this at launch. We had no scoreboard. We had these weird characters, these specialists that kind of mimicked Call of Duty characters. The feeling of the weapons was kind of off, I remember, and it still kind of feels off at times in the game, but it's not as bad as I remember it when the game first was out. They added classes back. They I think they removed bots from being in lobbies. I haven't played a match. Maybe it's just the lobbies and the servers are so filled right now because of the hype off of Battlefield 6 that everyone's going back to Battlefield 2042. So I can't say with certainty that they removed bots from the game, but from what I've played, I haven't played the 128 player Conquest. I'm pretty sure there's going to be bots in that, but from what I played so far, there's no bots in any of my games. Even if the lobbies aren't filled to the brim, they don't add, say it's 29 on 28, there could be 3 players in the other team. There's 7 slots basically, and usually those will be filled up with bots just to make it an even 32 versus 32, but even that I haven't seen. So I've been playing it a lot, and I realized it's actually not that bad. It kind of reminds me of Battlefield Hardline in a way, not in the way it plays or feels, but just because it's an outcast of the entire franchise. It's still based around military. They didn't do anything crazy by making it cops and robbers like Battlefield Hardline, but because of the movement and gunplay and everything, the lack of recoil, maybe all that stuff factored in, it made it feel like a Call of Duty game. If Call of Duty tried to make Battlefield, this is what it would have turned out to be. So in that sense, I think it's the black sheep of Battlefield, and playing it, I realized it's actually not terrible. It still has that Battlefield feel. For me at least, it definitely doesn't, still nothing holds up to Battlefield 1. Just the photorealism of Battlefield 1, the gun sounds, the character voice lines, the atmosphere itself, nothing has matched that yet. I think Battlefield 6 has came close. I haven't played the full game, so I couldn't judge it based on that, but judging on the beta, it's the closest thing we've had in the past like almost 7 years to Battlefield 1. But even still, it's actually a good game. It still gives me that Battlefield feeling when I play the game. People still play their roles, especially now that classes are in the game. And actually, the fact that each class has like 3 different operators with different traits to him, you know, like Felk in support has a syringe, whereas another dude on support, I don't remember all the operators' names, but another guy that's actually support as well, he has like an ammo crate. You know, they all have different gadgets, but they're all classed. Each section of them is classed into the same group, so they could be 4 different assault classes, which all do primarily the same thing, but then they have like extra abilities on the side. And I actually think that's pretty cool. It adds more variety in the game rather than just everyone choosing these 4 specific classes. They have more options in those classes. One thing I hate about Battlefield 2042 though is also that, you know, when they did add the classes back, and since we have these operators, it like lacks identity, not identity, but it's funny, you could have the same exact characters on each team, but yet they're different countries. So I think that's like immersion breaking in the game, but not so much because the game is so chaotic. You won't be really paying attention to the skins as much as you are in other games. But man, I've been having a blast actually on Battlefield 2042. It's a game that I feel like I could improve upon until the release of Battlefield 6. It's like, okay, I could work on my game on this and improve in this game. That way I'm used to this by the time Battlefield 6 comes out, because of course Battlefield is known for like its lack of aim assist. It has aim assist, but not as strong and dominant as it is in Call of Duty. So getting used to that right there is going to be key for me in Battlefield 6, and just reminding myself how to play a Battlefield game, because I think after you play Call of Duty for so long without playing Battlefield, you forget that it's a team-based game. Like, to win, like primarily people want to win the game. Of course you want to get kills, but not everyone in Battlefield is there to play and get kills. A lot of the fun actually does come from playing like your specific operator's role, like getting 100 revives in one match, and like you don't have 50 kills alongside that because you're doing your part, and it's just as fun doing that almost as it is getting kills. So just getting used to like not so selfish play, I think, in Battlefield is another good thing, getting used to that. But yeah, it's actually really fun. I even tried the other maps too. I tried like Hourglass and Orbital, and went back and played those maps to see if they were as bad as I remembered. And one thing I will say is the maps are way huge, like especially coming off the back of the Battlefield 6 beta, where we had these super small Siege of Cairo maps and super small Empire State maps. These are little Call of Duty style maps, you know. So going back to like Hourglass, which is a huge ass map with too much open space in my opinion, it's not as bad. It's still bad, but it's not as bad as I remember, you know. Actually, I remember there was one point when I would jump on Hourglass, and every time I would load in, like I'd be able to play half the game, and then halfway through the match on Hourglass, my game would freeze. I would lose frames immensely. Like I would be playing all of a sudden in 10 to 15 frames. So even that right there is an improvement, and it makes me actually able to play the map. The guns themselves feel a lot better, I feel like, than they did in when the game first came out, and overall it's a good time. It's definitely like, I would recommend, if I wouldn't recommend you buy it for $60 or nothing crazy like that, but if it goes on sale for 20 bucks, yeah, pick it up before Battlefield 6. Why not? You know, especially if you're looking for a game that mimics that kind of movement style, I guess. And if you're also someone like me where you kind of just want to play the most recent game before the next one comes out, you know, I don't want to go back and play the older games, although they're great. I want to play the most recent one because it makes me feel closer to the newer game. I don't know if that makes any sense. That sounds so stupid. I don't know. Anyway, my main point is Battlefield 2042 is not that bad. That's my gameplay. That's it. That's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about Battlefield 2042 in the comments down below. Did you play it at launch? And if you did, how do you see it now compared to how you saw it when it first came out? I definitely hold a positive light to this game, more so than I did when the game first came out, and I could definitely replay it. There's a lot more replay value in it now than there was when the game first came out. So like I said, I'd be interested to know. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.